It appears that Rudy Giuliani is in a little bit of trouble. What a fall from grace. Rudy Giuliani going from America's mayor to this guy. Yeah. So Rudy Giuliani, it's been reported in the New York Times, and it's all over now, that federal investigators, the FBI, has raided Rudy Giuliani's apartment. And they are now apparently in possession of several of his electronic devices. Oh, good. So they're reporting that investigators in Manhattan had executed a search warrant early on Wednesday at the Upper East Side apartment of former Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani. That's according to, of course, three people with knowledge of the matter. Now, that is, of course, the stepping up of the criminal investigation into Giuliani's dealings with Ukraine. So here we go. Rudy Giuliani. Uh-oh. Federal authorities, according to the Times, have been focused on whether Mr. Giuliani illegally lobbied the Trump administration on behalf of Ukrainian officials and oligarchs, who at the same time were helping Mr. Giuliani search for dirt on Mr. Trump's political rivals, including former vice president and now president of the United States, Joe Biden. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan and the FBI had apparently sought to get a search warrant for Giuliani's phones. Awesome. Now, this case grew out of the case against two men. You had, of course, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. They did some crimes. They were arrested for said crimes that are actually separate from this, but that investigation grew out of those two other people. So this is it's pretty ironic, okay? So this entire situation where they were trying to find dirt on Hunter Biden or Joe Biden using Hunter Biden, and it really comes from them trying to pull a Russiagate, essentially, like a reverse Russiagate. Like, no, it wasn't Russia that interfered in the 2016 election, will not interfere in the 2020 election. No, it's the Democrats, it's Ukraine, and now we're going to try to find some information that Joe Biden had interfered in the election, and he's trying to get dirt on Trump and all this stuff. And really, in reality, here's Rudy Giuliani acting as an unregistered lobbyist from the government of Ukraine in exchange for Ukrainian officials trying to get dirt on Joe Biden. So all this stuff. I mean, wow. Okay, so there's a lot of different moving parts to this, but again, I just have to marvel at the fall of America's mayor. Supposedly getting us through 9/11, and that's why he had such high approval ratings for so long. And yet here we go. We have Rudy Giuliani, again, representing Donald Trump, which was already pretty bad. Representing Donald Trump, saying insane things, going on Fox News like he was, lit up like a Christmas tree. Okay, this guy had to have had many drinks, the greatest drinks, the best drinks, before going on Fox News, butt dialing people, telling people, incriminating himself live on air. So this guy, not very smart. What an amazing fall. What an amazing fall. This guy. Wow. Just wow. So let me give you some details, more details. While investigating Mr. Giuliani, prosecutors examined, among other things, his potential business dealings in Ukraine and the role of pushing the Trump administration to oust an American ambassador to Ukraine, which was the subject of testimony in Mr. Trump's first impeachment trial. As he was pressuring Ukrainian officials to investigate the Bidens, Giuliani became fixated on removing the ambassador, Marie L. Yovanovitch, whom she saw as an obstacle to those efforts. At the urging of Mr. Giuliani and other Republicans, Mr. Trump ultimately ousted Ms. Yovanovitch. As part of the investigation, Giuliani prosecutors explored whether he was working not only for Mr. Trump, but also for Ukrainian officials or businesses who wanted the ambassador to be dismissed for their own political/business reasons, according to people briefed in the matter. So now, again, this is about influence, and ironically, they went after the Bidens because, well, hiring on this private company, Ukrainian gas company, hired on Hunter Biden in order to get influence over Vice President Joe Biden. Okay, and so that, as I've talked about before, is it corrupt? Yeah, of course. Is it a little bit of nepotism involved? Well, I mean, if you want to talk about nepotism, really, you might want to look at the Trump administration. But was that a Ukrainian effort to attempt to get access to Joe Biden? I think so. I do think so. That sort of influence, however, that sort of thing, while corrupt, isn't exactly illegal, right? What is illegal is being an unregistered foreign lobbyist. And that's what Rudy Giuliani is ultimately being investigated for. And this is under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. This is the same thing they got Paul Manafort for, okay? And under that act, it is a federal crime to try to influence or lobby the United States government at the request or direction of a foreign official without telling the Justice Department. Literally, the easiest thing that you can do is say, hey, government, I am acting as a foreign lobbyist to the Ukraine. And you're not actually supposed to say the Ukraine. It's just Ukraine, but it's old habits. Old habits die hard. And everybody calls it the Ukraine. It's actually just Ukraine. Imagine if you called it the Great Britain, the Ireland. Anyway, okay. And look, again, we're not discussing whether or not the influence should, in that kind of corruption, the institutionalized corruption that we have, that isn't illegal, shouldn't be illegal. We're not having that discussion. I actually also agree that it should be, and we shouldn't have, these companies, corporations, essentially hiring on family members in order to get access or, to get special favors for said company. I do agree that they should be illegal. I'm just saying that in this case, it's not. That's kind of the difference between the Hunter Biden stuff and the Giuliani stuff. And so what we have with the Giuliani stuff is him not doing the bare minimum and saying, hey, by the way, I'm working for the government of Ukraine and on behalf of their business interests. I am lobbying for a foreign company, which can be different than a country or a government, but I'm working for foreign nationals, essentially, and I am lobbying on their behalf. That's all you have to do is just tell them. And that's it. I mean, it's so easy. He couldn't even do that. He couldn't even register as a foreign agent. Now, the prosecutors have also scrutinized Mr. Giuliani's dealings with Yuri Lutsenko, one of the officials who helped Mr. Giuliani and his associates get in their dirt-digging mission while urging them to work to get that ambassador removed, among other things. Prosecutors have examined discussions Mr. Giuliani had about taking on hundreds of thousands of dollars in apparently unrelated consulting business from Mr. Lutsenko, which resulted in a draft retainer agreement that was never executed. Giuliani said he had turned down that deal, which would have involved him helping the Ukrainian government, working directly for the Ukrainian government, to recover money it believed had been stolen and taken overseas. So what it looks to me from this is Giuliani is in a little bit of trouble for trying to make a buck. And, apparently, if you don't tell the government you're trying to make a dollar, they can come after you for it. So, and not only that, but again, acting on behalf of the government, Donald Trump in this case, in order to use government resources to help dig up dirt on Joe Biden during an election. Now, what's interesting is that we're hearing about this now because for a while, the Trump administration had blocked the Justice Department from doing these things, from going and doing these investigations. Now, this was blocked by senior political appointees, and yet after Biden got into office, Merrick Garland, and after Garland was confirmed as Biden's Attorney General, The Justice Department then lifted its objections to these search warrants. And while a warrant, as the New York Times says, is not an explicit accusation of wrongdoing against Giuliani, it does show that the investigation has entered what they call an aggressive new phase. Now, you have to also, because though you have to have investigators persuading a judge that they have sufficient reason to believe that a crime is being committed and that a search will turn up evidence of a crime, because you have to have that means that Giuliani might be in a little bit of trouble. Just saying. Now, they also, in the case of Rudy Giuliani, since he is a lawyer, since he also represented the former president of the United States of America, you have to have the influence, or I should say, the consultation of the Justice Department. So they have to talk to the Justice Department in order to make sure that any of the stuff that they seize does not include records that might damage attorney-client privilege. So there's that. So understand that context means that these investigations, these raids are not done for no reason. There is absolutely a reason that they had to have these serious accusations, and also have to believe that that they would find something that would indicate a crime, and evidence against Giuliani. And so this is not good. It's not good for him. Okay, not good at all. And so again, Rudy Giuliani facing some serious accusations, and this is just another step. Nothing really good comes from an FBI raid on your apartment, and so we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see the trial by combat in the court of in the law. The court of law. And so all I have to say, good luck. Sad. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.